Hello everybody, this is Gouf LV4 coming at you with a 450 cost rated match here in Makuve's Gouf. We're going to be on Mass Driver Facility for this match here, and this is a round that I got recently that I was not expecting to do as well as I did with Makuve's Gouf. So recently I've been in another experimental phase in GBO2 where I just kind of use mobile suits and weapons I've either been meaning to use or just don't see all too often, or, just suits I don't use myself all too often. If you've seen my Saturday stream where I use the Gym Sniper 2 White Dingo with the machine gun, if you know, you know. I've just kind of been getting crazy with what I've been wanting to try out, but, just trying to have fun with it, try out some different things, and just kind of see how they can perform. And Makuve's Gouf at 450 has been on my radar for a hot minute now. I really enjoyed playing the suit at 300 and 350 when it initially came out. Now I don't use it as much as I used to, but during that initial release period for it, I really did enjoy it, so I wanted to see what it could do at 450. I've also been trying to experiment with a lot of the Overtune parts as well, trying to see what suits I could use them on, and Makuve's Gouf is kind of interesting when it comes to the Overtune parts. I'll get into that later in the video here, but for now, just kind of want to talk about Makuve's Gouf a little. This isn't going to be a in-depth kind of examination of how well Makuve's Gouf performs at 450, since this is currently the only match I've gone with it at this cost, so I just don't have the experience with it to really say anything, about it in terms of its 450 performance, but, it still carries a lot of its interesting gimmicks and everything that it had at the lower cost. Some things better, some things probably worse, depending how you look at it. So yeah, we'll just start off with Makuve's Gouf itself, which is a raid-type mobile suit. It is native to 300, and as you've probably seen already, you do have the Gan-style melee pattern when it comes to the heat sword there. You also have a double downswing on the heat rod, and you have two types of Vulcans. One that is really good for getting stagger accumulation, and another one which is, a discharge Vulcan, fires really fast, and can pack quite a punch depending on what mobile suit you are using it on. And you have the shield on the left arm as well, which paired with shield break stance mastery means you will not get stunned if your shield is destroyed. Something that is really useful for this suit because Makuve's Gouf does not have any dodge roll or maneuver armor on it in terms of skills, so kind of going a bit into the downsides with Makuve's Gouf here. As I mentioned, no dodge roll, no maneuver armor. You also do not have any form of resistance aside from melee resistances. Your ballistic and beam resistance are both flat zeros. This goes for all levels of Makuve's Gouf, so that's definitely something you want to watch out for. Though at level 4 you do get a 48 melee stat at base, a melee resistance, and that pretty much means your melee resistance is near max unless you get the hanger upgrade to further increase your melee resistance, but having base melee resistance be almost max, I think that is really good for the Makuve's Gouf at level 4. You also have melee priority 2, which is, not really the best when you are a raid, because that does mean most raids will be able to overpower you, and you'll be able to clash with most generals. Unless it's, like the ARC-78-2 here, which does have melee priority 3, so that would be able to overpower me, especially if it's using the Beam Saber. I don't know if the Hyper Hammer can really be knocked out of into a clash, but with the Beam Saber, yeah, the ARC-78-2 would be able to just wallop me if I tried to melee it, but aside from that, you do also get some really nice things with Makuve's Gouf as well. You do have a very high HP threshold. For the level 1, you pretty much get the same HP as the GOG, and I assume that applies to the level 4 version as well, the higher levels. I've also tried to boost my HP as well to, just kind of make me a bit more tankier. And the main reason I've focused on HP is because I tried to see what kind of custom parts I could put on it. especially in terms of overtuning parts. I've been really just trying out all the overtuning parts on like level 4 suits and above, just trying to see what types of builds I could get with them. But unfortunately, Makuve's Gouf does not really lend itself to the overtune parts that well. The only thing I could really fit on here was overtuning thrusters, which is really good because it does add 15 to my thruster gauge, so that is a really nice thing to have on Makuve's Gouf, but aside from that, I really couldn't get any other overtuning parts that I wanted to apply on it without really just taking up a majority of the part slots I wanted to use for the rest of the build. So aside from the overtuning thrusters, I mainly focused on improving my melee damage and my HP. So kind of just, I guess kind of going for a glass cannon build in a way, but not, because again, also just boosting the HP to be like very high. So that was sort of the main strategy I tried to get here with Makuve's Gouf, and there are instances where, you know, I can do some really good melee damage, especially if I could maybe get to the support. As you can see here, you know, doing some decent damage to the Zaku 2 F2, even though I completely whiffed my heat rod there just from being too close to the suit, but yeah, kind of a good example of the damage numbers you can get at least against a general at this cost. But for some of the other pros too, you do have the same skill as the Swartzum Gallus, where if you have a melee weapon out, you will be harder to stagger, and you will also have improved speed, which is kind of like, you know, the trade-off to not having any dodge roll or maneuver armor. So really good skill since it does apply to both the heat sword and the heat rod. And as I mentioned, you have shield break stance mastery, you have melee battle optimizer, close combat program, you have melee combo controller level 1, so 2 melee swings for the heat sword, and then you do have a lot of the typical raid skills as well, but you do also get anti-stealth level 1, which at 450 it may or may not be useful depending on, you know, what suit you're fighting against. You know, maybe if a Pixie or an Efreet Noct kind of shows up, it might be, you know, a little bit helpful, but you know, really a skill that I think is more useful at 300 and 350 where the Thunderbolt ag guys are at. So at 450, I don't know if it'll get as much usage, but yeah, really at 450, it's still kind of the same suit as the base Makuve's Gouf. They don't do anything to the skills, like you don't get like any higher level skills or anything with it, so you're not going to get like really too much in terms of different performance from the Makuve's Gouf here. Again, aside from, you know, you have higher level stats, which, as I mentioned, having near max melee resistance I do think is pretty good, but yeah, nearing the end of the match here, I'm going to get the last kill on the Silver Haze Kai, which just brings us ahead to get the win here, and that's going to be timeout and mission over. Let's see how we did with Makuve's Gouf before I start wrapping things up for the video here. And I did get top in assists, top in damage, and top in diversions for my side of the match here, and second place with 3 kills and 2 losses. So, you know, not too bad of a match there in Makuve's Gouf. Again, not really the results I was expecting to get with it. I didn't really think I did too well. Part of that might have been because I really didn't use the heat rod too much. I definitely could have used the heat rod way more during this match. I probably would have gotten some better damage numbers and things like that, but, you know, for the first and so far only 450 match I've used with it, you know, pretty alright overall. And to just kind of wrap things up here, again, not really going to have some big analysis or conclusion like if the suit's good or not at 450. It just kind of seems more worth trying out more than anything, since it seems like it can do decently well. Again, I would need to play it like way more to really know for certain. I would also probably need to get some better maps, since I don't think Mass Driver Facility is really the best map for Makuve's Gouf. Maybe like Arctic Base or Underground Base. I think those would be some really nice maps for the Makuve's Gouf at this level. But yeah, really my only complaint with the level 4 Makuve's Gouf is just, it doesn't really lend itself to custom parts that well, so at least not custom parts, but at least like the overtuning parts. So yeah, not gonna get some crazy overtune build with it, but yeah, that's really all I had for this video here. Again, just kind of having fun with just suits that I haven't really used or meant to use. So that's really everything I have for this video here. Comment down below what you think about Makuve's Gouf. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and with that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.